Hey everyone, welcome to the Relationship Smith Show. We are live. Hey everyone, welcome to TRS. You are joining us tonight with our most excellent actress, Diane Franklin. You've seen her in everything. Let's just say everything. Diane, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. Thank you for that very sweet intro. I like it. Everything. Sounds good. I'm good. How I hope the audience is good. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you.
You've done everything, as I said earlier. I've been pouring over your IMDb all week. It started with what, Amityville? No, that was not
Virgin.
your first role. Last
Virgin.
American Virgin,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and then Amityville. Yeah. I just have a ton of notes, but I've been watching them. And you've most recently been, not most recently, one of your most recent things is the prank panel, the prank show starring Johnny Knoxville and several other people. We're going to talk on all of these things tonight. And I just wanted to say, again, thank you for coming here. I know you're busy, and it was so sweet of you to get us in this quickly after asking you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, everything just worked out. So I'm very happy about it. My schedule is crazy. I know that's kind of I don't know. I feel like I'm busier than I've ever been, which is kind of crazy. But yes, so I'm glad we got this in. It's just excellent. Totally excellent.
Awesome. Thank you. I wanted to start at the beginning a little bit. You grew up the daughter of older parents. And this is a relationship show, so I want to dig in a little bit this. And one of my best friends, and I think Josh has a relation here too, was also the child of older parents. I'm the youngest of five, so my parents are a little bit older, but they were just tired before they got to me.
I know, right? By the end, if you're third, like the last child, then the parents are exhausted and they're like, whatever, do what you think.
Just please don't get arrested, I think was actually a quote.
For those of you who are out there listening to this and you have older parents, you totally get this. It's definitely, when you have older parents, my mom had me when she was 40 and my dad was, I think, 43 or 45 or something. And, I think they come from a different perspective. They appreciate you. They're glad that you were born and they're tired, they just, so it is a different way to be, yeah. So.
And your parents went out of their way to support your modeling career, like so much travel and time invested in helping you do what you were happy doing.
I'll tell you something. I kind of obviously, it's strange. My dad worked in the city, in New York City. And so he was there already. So when I wanted to be an actress at the time, now we call them women actors, I wanted to do it. I didn't have any, my parents did not push me. It was me. And because my dad worked in the city, it was like, okay, we see this, my mom would take me at the beginning we'd drive to the station, like to Penn Station from Long Island. And we drove not to Penn Station. We drove to the railroad station in Hicksville. And then we would take the train 45 minutes into the city. So at first I went with my mom and, my mom was not she was I think she was in her 50s when she started to take me. And that was a big deal. I mean, it was not easy for her. But I was raised as an only child because my sister was 19 years older than me. So she was married and she had her own kids. And so when I was being raised, my parents could give me the attention and help me do what I wanted to do. I think the thing that was interesting about my family life is my parents wanted me to be happy. Then they really stepped out of their comfort zone. They really didn't know what they were doing. They had absolutely no idea what they were doing. But because of their love for me, they just found out information. And, they made some good decisions with the people that they connected with. And they asked questions. And I'm really grateful because that was something that I realize is such a big part of one becoming the person that they want to be, is that starting young is very helpful, and having someone who listens to you and helps you do it is is really, really important. You can wait till you're older. I mean, I have kids who I coach and I teach, and some of them are like, I want to do it and I want to be a performer and an actor, but their parents are either too busy or they can't do it, and it's not even necessarily about finances. It's just about availability.
Time.
They can't drive them to an audition. They can't get them there. If the job comes up, they're not going to be there. And so, or they won't figure it out. Like, again, like a parent has to be there. If a child gets a job, the parent actually has to be there. They have to be able to take off work and be with that child. So a lot of kids wind up waiting until they're 18 to work. Or if they're emancipated 6, I don't know. It just depends. I didn't have to go through that, but they wait until they can do it. But the competition's up more then, and it's harder, but let's face it, as an actor, any freelance person, it is difficult. And you never, if you're a freelance person, it's a life. And it's funny because some people will be like, how can you live with that kind of unstable reality? You wait for a job to come. But I will tell you, people always need people.
Yeah.
In fact, they always need them in a way. Everyone's always looking for somebody to help, more so than somebody to come to work every day. Like, you could get hired for a job working at a company and you'll be like, okay, you're there, and you give a certain amount of your life to that, but that company could fold. And then you go, oh, but wait, I thought my whole life was based on working here. I thought it was going to stay here, or I thought it was going to rise in the company. So in a way, like the actor and the freelance person's always ready for anything.
Yeah. I've worked for 5 different startups. So,
yeah, right?
I understand that. Yeah. I don't think I could do the gig or the contract type of life. I do understand that, like, no job is permanent anymore. Like, you never know how good you are, how important you think you are. It doesn't matter so much in this world.
You have to be flexible. You have to be yes, and you have to go with the flow. I have some thoughts about, sharing information with people about that, because a lot of times, especially now, I know our generation, a little bit older, it used to be where, okay, people look forward to retiring and they're like, I'm going to retire. And then they retire and then they're bored. They're so bored that they come back to work, or they go and try to find something else because they want to be involved. And it's fascinating because that is the freelance life, is like, you always are looking for something to happen that's happening. But it gives you life. People go, what about the rejection? I'm like, what about the resilience? What about the excitement of trying something new?
What about the first time you're on a poster of a movie outside of the theater? Like, there's the balance. I can't imagine,
Yes.
I did want to ask you one last thing about your childhood, about your sister. I know my friend in particular, he didn't have a relationship with his sister until he was 25. He was an adult already. Like, they knew each other. They were, Christmas dinners and all that stuff, but there wasn't a connection. Did you have something like that with your sister?
It was hard because she was so much older than me. I was so young. I didn't get to know her really until, it was funny, when she had kids and then I would play with her kids. So it just took a while, a few years before I was more on the same level as her. But we would have, like, we'd get together for family events and, Christmas and holidays and stuff with her family. But it was definitely a generation gap because, of the time difference. I mean, I think that anybody who has, like, such a big gap in age, she was having her own life, raising her kids and her family.
Yeah.
And I love seeing my niece and her family too now. And so, I mean, they're great. My relatives are awesome.
Yeah. My niece, my first niece, I think I was 8 years old when she was born. So I have a lot in common with her.
Mm-hmm.
Right. She's my
more in common in a way that with my niece than my sister, which is kind of because of the age.
Yeah. It's I wanted to explore that dynamic a little bit because it's interesting. You do mention your sister in the book, but then there's a point where you don't,
Yeah.
and I'm like, well, what happened? Was she at the premiere? Was she like did
No,
because
she was
it's
raising her
hard
own kid.
sometimes.
In fact, my niece was born when I was an aunt when I was 4. So
You have
that's
to
pretty
win.
weird. That's pretty weird, right? I remember
Yeah.
it's like Aunt Diane, like, what is happening? I'm Aunt, and I'm like a little kid. I'm not even in school yet.
To the Relationship Smith Show.